Let's welcome Stan Lee.
You know, I hope you weren't joking about those songs you played, because to me they're just second to the national anthem.
Oh, no, I love those songs.
In importance and meaning.
No, we would never joke. Why do you think we remember when we're 38-year-old men? Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever
a spider
does whatever
a spider can, which is not much.
Oh, no. Never say that.
Well, you seem like such a glamorous hero. Say, he does what a spider does. You can trap on him and kill him. Loses a leg and slower, but still got 7.
No, you promised we were going to take this very serious.
Oh, hey, come on, I love this stuff for my youth.
I mean, my...
Spidey's 30th birthday. What do you get Spider-Man for 30?
30 wax. Actually, you know, we've been doing this. I celebrated his first birthday, his second birthday. I'm getting a little bored with this. When we get to his 100th birthday, I think I'll make a big thing out of that.
Yeah. Is Aunt May still alive?
Yeah, she'll never die. You know, it's funny, in the early days, we used to get mail. 50% of the mail said, "You've got to kill Aunt May, or we'll never read another copy of the book."
Wow.
The other 50% said, "If anything happens to Aunt May, I'll never buy another book." And these are the kind of dilemmas I am faced with all the time. It is not easy.
And while it is like the ultimate in fiction, it's like people take it so seriously, don't they? I remember when they
Fiction?
Well, you know, I remember when I was young and you changed Tony Stark from, he was the heavy Iron Man to the light Iron Man. Mm-hmm. I got all bummed out. It was like Dylan before and after the wreck. You know, he had the...
For those who aren't familiar with this sort of thing, originally Iron Man had this heavy, bulky suit of armor. And then after a while, it wasn't really me. You know what happens? We have different artists drawing these occasionally. So one artist at one point said, "Gee, it seems to me you ought to have a more streamlined suit of armor." And I occasionally would make those command decisions. I said, "Okay, streamline the armor."
Right.
And I took the credit for it, and this poor guy labored for months, you know, designing a new suit of armor. And Iron Man really, strangely enough, has had more costume designs than hardly any character.
Yeah.
Every new artist who took it over said, "I hate that suit of armor, I want to change it."
Right. Now, my favorite when I was young was the X-Men. Did you were the creator of the X-Men?
The X-Men,
Professor X.
Thank you, mutant lovers.
I always loved Scott, the kid who was bummed out because whenever he pulled the visor back, he would zap the girl he was on a date with.
Well, here's a poor guy who had to wear his eyes covered up all the time. Yeah. You know, the X-Men, it was a funny thing. When I first proposed the idea of the X-Men, my publisher said, I wanted to call them the Mutants. And the publisher said, "No, you can't call them the Mutants because nobody knows what a mutant is." Well, I didn't really agree, but he was the publisher. So I tried to think of another name, and I figured, well, mutants have extra power. So we call them the X-Men. And I said to him, "How about calling them the X-Men?" He said, "Yeah, that makes sense." And I figured out, who's going to know what an X-Man is, you know? But this is why I'm not a businessman.
Well, an X-Man is Christina Jorgensen. Now, tell me about Spidey. We got this poster here. Is he your favorite? Spidey your favorite, or you didn't like him at first?
No, I loved him.
You know, wait, I got to tell you, they're doing a movie. You're going to do a movie about him, right? You know who you got to look at to play Spider-Man. I think I got the perfect Spider-Man for you, and they'll back me up on this. Who would be better than Jim Carrey from In Living Color? Do you know him?
Yes, of course.
He's so funny. He loves this character. And
does he really?
Nobody can bend their body or be more elastic, and I think he'd be a perfect Spider-Man. You really ought to look
Duly
into
noted.
All
But,
right.
you know, actually, the one who's going to make that decision will be Jim Cameron, who's the fellow
From the
who's gonna
Terminator.
write it. Yeah.
Well, at least it's going to get done right, then.
I mean, when we do a movie, we go to the top.
Boy, that would be exciting to have Cameron
it
do
really is
Spider-Man.
thrilling.
Because I don't think any of these have ever really... well, you know, the TV ones that were brought to life...
Oh, don't even mention that.
Oh,
TV
you didn't dig the
series.
Hulk
Oh,
thing?
it was terrible.
No?
That it had none of the things that made Spider-Man popular. It had none of his personality. It had none of the humor. I mean, you wouldn't really relate to that humor part, but I'll explain it later on, you know. And it had none. Only kidding. I love
Dan.
it.
Okay.
Hey, listen, you let Ed Asner come out with a gun.
I got to take a break. Stan Lee, folks. Thank you. We'll be right back. David Niven.
He was.
All right, I want to show you this. Remember the Michael Jordan cover we had on Sports Illustrated with the hologram? Well, the 30th anniversary giant-sized Spider-Man is out. It's got a killer hologram on the front. You ought to pick it up. These, I'm sorry if I wax poetic about these things, but they're from your childhood, and that's usually sticks with you.
I love every golden syllable. You know, there are actually 4 of these. It's a series of 4 books to commemorate the anniversary.
All right.
And each cover has a hologram.
Beautiful. We got to run. Stan Lee. Good night, teenagers. Bye-bye. Thanks, Stan.